Steve, I think we're live.
Hey, are we?
I think we're live.
We are live. What, first time in what, 2 months now?
It's been a while. And you should know, Steve, that this episode of the podcast, as all episodes of the podcast, are brought to you by Skookum Cigarettes. Skookum. For when you want to find the big man and smell like a nasty fucking cigarette.
I haven't heard that in a long time, man.
I know. I wanted to bring it back for you, just for that. But okay, here we go, Steve.
I like
it. Good evening, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. This is technically episode 1, Steve.
Number 1.
It's like we took everything that we did for the past 4 years. Fuck it. You know, it's still there. But this is like the reboot. This is like if J.J. Abrams got a hold of our podcast and was like, this is your reboot. We'd have all kinds of lens flare, supposedly.
Is that some sort of movie reference that I'm supposed to get?
It could be, Steve. I don't know. But this is the return of the Fortean Slip.
Nice.
You know, I'm your father, Steve.
Where did it go?
Where did what go? The slip?
Yeah, you said it's the return. Where did it go?
Well, the Fortean Slip has gone through a symbolic death, Steve. Like a death of the soul. It's gone. It's not the same.
Okay.
As you know, because you and I got together, what was it, like a week and a half or so ago?
Something along that line, yeah.
Yeah, it was a little bit ago, and I made the post in the on the like page. But you know, you and I became rather frustrated with the direction of the show and what we were doing, and the fact that we were getting to the same relative topics, and it was becoming rather boring to us. And while we enjoy the paranormal, Fortean, whatever the fuck you want to call it, there's just other things that we can talk about on top of that.
Absolutely.
And like I said, that's not to say that we don't want to, or that we're not going to talk about things related to those topics, but it's just, it gets exhausting, I guess. And the way we were going, it just kind of. So I wanted to change it so that I'd be fucking happy again, Steve. I didn't want to come on the air every Sunday night and be like, fuck this, you know, which is what happened eventually. I mean, I think the Mick West episode, I was pretty stoked about that, but and I think like the 2 Johnson shows we did, I was kind of into those. But other than that, like, everything was just fucking.
Hey, before you go too far, man, your audio is like slipping. So
my audio went to shit again.
yeah, but we'll power through it.
Well, you know, we can switch over. Does that sound better?
Holy cow! It's like a different Chris.
It's like a different person.
Yep.
So we don't need that shit. Well, actually, I kind of do need it to be able to bring the production into the show, but it's an easy fix.
But you can switch back and forth between the production stuff, right?
Yes, I can do that.
I think that's how we're going to have to do that from now on.
Steve, listen, dreams do come true here on the Fortean Slip.
We want to produce a quality show instead of
a dog shit show.
Well, I kind of like the dog shit show aspect of it, but you know, got to come to a compromise somewhere. So you get your
What is it?
production, and I get a little bit of dog shit once in a while.
I mean, it's gonna be a dog shit show no matter what, but
Yeah.
that's just what we produce.
That's what we like.
I can't help
It's,
that, Steve.
it's what we are.
Um, so yeah, I'm a dirtbag, Steve. I'm just a dirtbag. So
Yep.
I pulled a rookie move.
Oh yeah.
Well, don't pretend like you don't know, Steve.
Okay.
Uh,
I've already forgotten.
you forgot? Are you that absent-minded?
Yes.
I don't believe it. It's a fucking put on, man. Just
I had a discussion with
let's break
my
down the
wife.
fourth wall of your stupidity.
I had a discussion with my wife and her sisters today, and I just now forgot what I was going to say. Huh.
That's great. No, I was seeing a lady,
Oh,
and I left my laptop
you did what?
open and on
Oh,
at said lady's place
okay.
and went to
She's
work.
she's seen all your porn and shit on there, or what?
Oh, fuck the porn. The porn wasn't what bothered her.
Uh-huh.
That would be the chat logs, Steve.
Oh,
Yeah,
that is a rookie mistake.
that was a fucking rookie mistake.
That's like the most boneheaded rookie mistake you could make.
I feel like a fucking jackass. Just because I did it. I mean, I felt like a jackass all in all, but talk about fucking what a fucking hell of a day that was. Some interesting conversations.
So I'm gonna assume that you're no longer with this woman.
No, it kind of ended. And to be honest, like I wanted to try and continue it. I was willing to be transparent.
Well, leaving your laptop open to the
Yeah,
chat
that was pretty fucking
is
transparent
pretty.
right there.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking transparent.
That was pretty fucking good. So I offered all that up, and I can't remember what day it was or when it happened, but I fell asleep, and I didn't wake up and answer her text soon enough.
Uh-oh.
So that abruptly ended, like right there.
Well,
So yeah, that was interesting.
Maybe it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, at this point, like I question if I just like subconsciously left the fucking thing there, open and on, like
Well,
because I just wanted it to end.
here's the real question. What the fuck is she doing in your laptop? If she trusts you and shit.
Well, I mean, be that as it may, she was justified, I guess.
I suppose, but
I mean,
she's
she
not. It's not like you're
technically
married.
was justified. Yeah, no, I wasn't married,
No,
but
my wife has
but
all access to my
but
shit.
listen. I mean, like I said, I'm the fucking dirtbag. I was in a quote unquote supposed to be monogamous relationship. And it was stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Like I shouldn't have gotten into that in the first place.
Well, I'm not forgiving your side of this at all. I mean,
Oh no,
you were a dick.
I'm a piece of shit, dude.
But come on, there's got to be some boundaries in a relationship. She shouldn't be in your laptop. Now, if you're married to her, that's a whole different story. You know, my wife has all access to everything. There's nothing I hide because it would be really stupid of me to. But you're dating somebody, and how long were you with her?
It was a little bit. I want to say since like July.
Well, maybe I'm a little wrong on that. That's kind of more than just a. I mean, because it's no fucking November here. That's a long-term relationship for you.
It was a little while. I mean, yeah, okay. But it is what it is, or it was what it was. But you know,
Hey,
and
you live and learn.
And I'm trying to get everything situated to bring the show back, and my grandmother passed away,
Right.
which like I'm not like super broken up over. She was like 86. She lived a good life. So but that that had happened too. So it was it's been a fucked up time. But we're back. The show, like I said, I don't know how we'll go with it. Like I said, we'll still talk about the stupid shit, the big feet and UFOs and all that assorted nonsense.
Would you do me a favor though? I want to run a
What's
little.
that?
I want to run a little test. Would you put the word alien in your title of this video just to see what YouTube does?
Oh, see if they will monetize it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or no, put the word chupacabra in there somewhere because I'm having every video on my channel that had the word chupacabra in it got demonetized.
Got demonetized. Yeah. And YouTube sucks. And for the record, this is going to be our first episode that we're going to throw on iTunes. I set up a Libsyn account. So the show will now have an RSS feed. You do not have to listen to the show on YouTube anymore. You still can. You guys can listen live. But the show will be available through iTunes, on Libsyn. I'm going to put a link to the audio player, which I believe you can download through on the blog as well. So you guys will have access to everything, whether it be the YouTube or iTunes or whatever. So, I mean, and for those of you who do listen to the show on YouTube, go to the fucking iTunes page once we have it up, and it will be up tonight. And give us a good rating, leave a comment, subscribe to the podcast, all easy things to do. Helps us out. If you like the show, which some of you motherfuckers are here every goddamn time we do a show.
That's right. Every time.
Like I can count on it.
And for what it's worth, I think we're going to continue audio only from now on. No video.
Yeah.
So it'll be more seamless with the iTunes integration, I think.
Oh yeah. I'm just, the video is getting distracting while we're doing the show, I think, along with other things. But so that's the direction we're going to go. I hope that everyone enjoys the direction of the show. I don't think it'll be so different that you all are like, what the fuck? It's just going to be a more well-rounded show, I think, because we'll be able to do whatever the fuck we want.
Well-rounded.
and Steve.
Yes, sir.
Steve, we're going to bring back the news.
Oh, yeah? When are we going to do that?
Well, tonight.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So, do you have any news?
I do. dailystar.co.uk. Now, we can't get away from the Fortean topics altogether. So this first story is about alien hunters, and they are stunned because this UFO scattered all the clouds in the sky or something. I don't know why that stuns alien hunters anymore, but it does still. Because they're looking for that sort of thing.
They were like, "Them there clouds, they just disappeared. That had to be a goddamn UFO. If I ever seen one, Steve."
Apparently, the YouTube channel, and I'm sure it's a very legit channel, Suspect Sky uploaded some video this week. There's a strange white object. It hovers on the long, thin cloud. There's a long, thin cloud in the video, and it does it for a few seconds before appearing to slowly disperse them, because UFOs do that.
They cloud bust.
As the camera zooms in shakily, of course, into the object.
Listen, Steve, everybody knows that UFOs use orgone energy.
What is orgone energy?
That's what you use to cloud bust, dude.
Is it? No.
Yeah.
No, I'm not up on that sciencey shit.
Listen, I know these things.
Anyway, the UFO apparently looks like a star, and as the camera zooms in, the sky starts to clear up mysteriously. It's a 1-minute film. It's shot in October, and it's on its way to going viral. I don't know how many views do you have to go viral? I don't know.
The other video this guy has is a snuff film.
Commenters on the video, I love the commenters, were largely convinced that the video was a genuine UFO sighting. Josh Hammond wrote that this is some awesome footage, not only seeing a UFO, but seeing how it affects the change in the area around it. Good video, man.
This is some awesome footage there, Steve. You see what it does to them there fucking clouds? That shit's just downright amazing.
The next commenter is probably more on the level here. Their name is Foxy Leone, and they wrote, "I've personally witnessed a UFO literally erasing a chem cloud. Rather nice of them." That's what they do. They take the chemtrails and disperse them.
Oh, they erase the chemtrails.
Well, basically, yes.
Do they use do they just pull out a giant eraser?
I don't know. There's some science behind it. UFO science.
Oh.
Some viewers, though, did remain unconvinced of its authenticity. One who's unnamed said, "Fakery at its best." And
he who will not be named.
One simply just said, "It's fake." So, yeah. I don't know. I can't. I think it. I don't know. I think it's real.
If the UFO disperses a cloud, it's got to be ancient aliens.
We got a Bigfoot story tonight for a change. Right? Bigfoot for a change. The Midwest's first all-female Bigfoot team, which isn't true because there's been other female Bigfoot teams, but whatever. MinotDailyNews.com. Where's Minot? Where is Minot? In the Midwest, apparently. Bigfoot is around and active, or at least that is what the women of She Squatchers, that's their name, She Squatchers.
What's wrong with that, Steve?
I just think it's hilarious, that's all.
You got a problem against women researchers in the Bigfoot community?
No, I have a problem with women researchers in the Bigfoot community who come up with a name like that.
Oh.
That's it.
I'm sorry, Steve.
The She Squatchers visited Minot as a part of the Body Lab USA convention Saturday at the Sleep Inn and Suites. The She Squatchers. See, I've tried to do the news professionally tonight, and I'm screwing up already.
You fail miserably.
I made it through. I made it through the first story.
You did something.
These ladies are located primarily in Minnesota and North Dakota, and they investigate Bigfoot sightings across the American Midwest, according to their website, which is shesquatchers.com. She-squatchers.com, by the way. So you want to get it right, because it might be something totally you don't want to see if you don't put the dash in.
It could be important.
Could be. So why all women? Well, I sat down. This is a quote by somebody. I sat down with Lauren Coleman. He's a cryptozoologist, for those of you who didn't know. He was at the Bigfoot Museum in Maine, said Jen Cruz of Minnesota, founder of the She Squatchers.
Well, if you came to see Lauren Coleman.
Well, yeah.
Oh, it's by Jesus, Steve. That just legitimizes everything.
Little name drop in there. He said, I think it's going to be a woman that really develops the interaction and the relationship with Bigfoot. So Lauren Coleman believes that it will be a woman cryptozoologist who finds Bigfoot finally.
Well,
That's pretty cool.
Well, look at that.
Cruz said she could understand this kind of concept from all the studies with apes that are always working with women alone without protection. Men have a pheromone or scent that apes and Bigfoot alike either find threatening or they do not like, according to her. From this, Cruz concluded that she wanted to be that woman who had that encounter, the first real contact with Bigfoot. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Cruz said, I thought, I've always been intuitive and I actually do work as a psychic medium. She's a fucking psychic.
Why are you putting on a fucking girly voice?
Because you got to emphasize the way she would say it. I picture her as a little ditzy, but she's a psychic, so she can't be that ditzy, right?
Oh my God.
Okay, I'll read it as a professional newsman. I thought, I've always been intuitive, and I've actually done work as a psychic medium for missing person cases.
Much better, Steve.
And I work with paranormal teams with remote viewing. With these skills, she feels she is equipped to hunt down.
So what you're saying, Steve, is she's a transgendered girl based on your new voice?
Is that what transgendered girls sound like? I don't think so. I think that's being genderist.
Oh, I don't know.
Is that a word?
I don't know.
Oh, they remote view for Bigfoot, apparently. She says remote viewing, according to Cruz and fellow team member Jenna Grover, also of Minnesota, has been the key to their success.
You should remote view for Bigfoot. Why shouldn't
you? And that's why they found so much evidence.
If you're going to look for a wacky-ass cryptid in the forest, you might as well do some crazy shit while you're on your way.
I didn't realize that remote viewing had something to do with it. That's the first time. I think they are, like at the cutting edge, because I haven't heard of remote viewing to find Bigfoot before. Not in the mainstream Bigfoot community. I mean, maybe it's like some sciencey thing behind the scenes, but not mainstream. So. We got another story, and I think a lot of our viewers will like this one. This is from the Chicago Tribune, so it's like a real newspaper.
Oh.
Real newspaper.
Oh.
Donald Trump, has a judicial nominee who hunts ghosts, and he fends off critics over his lack of qualifications. By day, he was a clerk to a federal judge, a Harvard Law School graduate at the start of his career, but by night, he was a ghost hunter and a devotee to the macabre.
Look at him go.
The guy's name is Brett Talley, and he's now President Donald Trump. It still sucks to say that, right?
He fights,
he fights
for
political.
Truth, justice, and that noise that you record and get sound out of.
It's called an EVP, Chris.
Oh, I'm sorry, Steve.
Electronic voice phenomena.
Also known as bullshit.
Anyway, President Trump's nominee for a lifetime appointment to the federal bench as U.S. District Court Judge in Alabama. Few in memory have been nominated with credentials quite like those of Talley, who's 36, and he's an Alabama native, a political speechwriter and author of horror books. Ooh, that's cool. And a fledgling lawyer who never tried a case. I'm sorry.
Look at him go.
In 2009 and 10, he was a member of the Tuscaloosa Paranormal Research Group, a volunteer organization that since the early 2000s has held all-night vigils and used infrared cameras, handheld sensors, and a bunch of other shit to try to find ghosts and stuff.
Nice.
Yeah. He was a real help. He was quiet and real smart, Dave Higdon of the group's founder told the Washington Post. We try to do everything scientific.
Do we?
Yeah, that's what they said. Talley did not respond to requests for an interview. In 2014, when he was a speechwriter on Capitol Hill, Talley took a Post reporter ghost hunting in a district cemetery. As he paused at graves, Talley said he always maintained a level of skepticism during the outings. I tend to believe there's a good scientific explanation for the weird things people see and hear, Talley said at the time. But I'm open to the idea, and it's fun. I think this guy's going to be a hell of a judge.
Sure.
I mean, he just said he's open-minded, and it's fun.
Good times, Steve.
And some potentially sad news, maybe, kind of,
Okay.
probably not,
All right.
from the LA Times.
Lay it on me, Steve.
Old Charlie Manson is about to die.
Mm.
And it's like
I'm broken up, Steve.
apparently they're not releasing too much information about this. So
Yeah.
what I'm going to tell you is about all the information that's available. But
There's gonna
Charles
be
Manson.
There's gonna be a withered old corpse with a fucking SWAT sticker on its fucking forehead. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, he's already a withered old corpse, but Charles Manson was rushed from prison to Bakersfield Hospital earlier this week, raising new questions about the health of the 83-year-old mass killer. Well, he's never killed anybody, has he? That they know of?
That they know of. Technically, he just had other people do the crime for him.
Right. So he's not technically a mass killer, a mass organizer of killings.
Yeah, something like
that would be better.
Yeah.
No details about his condition have been released. A state prison official confirmed early Sunday evening that Manson is, in fact, still alive. And here's what they know and what they don't. Why is so little information being released? Well, because you don't need to fucking know. That's why. The California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation has cited federal and state medical privacy laws that preclude the agency from commenting on protected health information for any inmate in custody. So that's why. They can give notification whenever they are bringing somebody in or bringing somebody out, but that's it. So if Manson does die, they will be able to tell you, but they can't tell you anything else. Yeah.
I see. Sounds like a good time.
Yeah. Apparently, there's quite a few security measures. Given Manson's crimes and his numerous problems as a prisoner, it's likely that significant security measures are being employed, but officials obviously wouldn't comment on what those measures are. When Manson was hospitalized in January, several prison officials were seen at the hospital. Manson has incurred more than 100 rules violations since 1971, when he and other member of his so-called family were convicted of killing a pregnant actress, Sharon Tate, and 6 other people during a bloody rampage in the Los Angeles area during 2 nights in August of 1969.
He's just an overachiever, Steve.
Well, yeah. Officials have said over the years that he spat in the guard's face, threw hot coffee at a prison staffer, started fights, tried to cause a flood, and set his mattress on fire.
Hey, listen, he's no Charlie Bronson.
He was also married in prison to some crazy chick who...
Charlie?
Yeah. He was married in 2014. She's 26 years old at that time. So that's pretty crazy.
Are you telling me Charlie got some pussy?
Well, yeah. Well, I don't know. Is that even allowed? I don't know.
I haven't looked up the rules.
I'm sure he's gotten some, but it's probably not the kind he wanted. Although he is a pretty open guy to that sort of thing, I'm guessing. I don't know. Anyway, to anal rape in prison.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm guessing. I don't know.
If you watch Aquarius,
he's open to killing people, so why wouldn't he be open to that?
Sure, why not?
So anyway, it's his next parole hearing, should he live, is in 2027. He'd be 92 years old.
Yeah, he'll probably be dead by then, Steve.
I'm going to guess that he'll be dead by the end of the week.
Huh.
But that's just a guess. So,
cool.
Anyway, that is the news.
Thank you, Steve. That was beautiful.
Sorry I didn't screw it up enough.
Well, Steve, it's not about you screwing it up. It's about the way we present it.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's if I wanted you to screw it up, I'd make the stories a little harder for you.
I was in communication with our producer earlier this week.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And we were talking about Charlie.
Our producer who didn't show? I told him we were having a show tonight, too.
Well, he's the producer now. He doesn't have to show. He just has to produce.
No, he thinks that title allows him to just fucking sleep.
But he was saying, you know, a lot of people call Charles Manson a serial killer or mass murderer or whatever, but he really isn't. He never killed anybody. So should he be held responsible? Yeah, I believe he should be held responsible, but at the same level as those who actually did the killings, even though because he never did any that we know of.
Yeah, it's a conundrum, Steve. Like I say, yeah, he's he's just as responsible. That's my opinion. And you know, if somebody has the opinion that he's not as responsible as the people who actually did the deed, I mean, that's their opinion. I think that he talked a bunch of young, impressionable people into doing something to forward his agenda. He wanted to create a race war. And he thought that the blacks would win. And that they would need a lily white man to lead them.
That's just crazy.
And he wanted to be that man.
That's crazy talk.
Yeah, that was his idea.
But how do you convince people to do that? I mean, what kind of person do you have to be to convince people to let's go out? I want you to go out and kill people.
Not that I'm saying that the black portion of our population couldn't put up a good fucking fight.
Of course they could.
If it came down to it. But dude, they are not as plentiful as the white people. So like if you look at it as like a war, like I don't see how he thought they could have won. Like I think they would have put up a good fucking fight.
I don't know.
But there's a lot at that point in time. There was a lot of fucking white people in this country, Steve. There's a whole middle section to this country.
Well,
everybody seems to forget.
Not that black people are not still being quote unquote oppressed, because in some instances I'm sure they are. But back then they definitely were still, you know, they weren't equals. So it was a lot different situation back in those days. And I think you're probably right. At that time, there was not as much of they were just not beginning. I guess it was in the very early days of equal rights and all that stuff, you know? So they were beginning to rise up to stand up for themselves, but they weren't quite there yet.
Yeah. And you know as well as I do that there are still people out there who are fucking just douchebags who can't have an open mind and fucking still think that they are somehow inferior. I had to cut people out of my life because they were so fucking blatantly racist.
Oh yeah.
Like it was like, dude, seriously? I remember this one friend I had. I said to him, I said, dude, you know what I want to do to you so bad? I want to like fucking drop a black hooker in your bed. And he's like, you better fucking not. I mean, he was just so bad. It was
and I was
horrible.
I was talking to some gentlemen from Alabama the other day, and the question of race, I was actually on a podcast. I wasn't on a podcast, but I was in a chat.
Yeah.
They're from Alabama, and somebody brought up the racial situation in Alabama, and he's like, you know, I don't see it that much. I said, well, you got to move to Ohio. You know, you want to see some racism, move to Ohio or Pennsylvania or Maine. You know, that shit's rampant around here.
It's not. It's not up here.
I don't know what it is.
It's not.
But around here, trust me, it is.
No, I wouldn't say that it's horrible in Maine. It's just the problem that is happening in Maine is that there is an insane culture clash because Maine wound up taking in a lot of the Somalian immigrants.
Right.
And what happened is you had all of these people that flooded into our state, and the people that were already here are very they don't like it at all. There's a great many people that do not like it. The huge influx of people that came here. Now, a huge burden on the towns and the places where these people moved to. So I completely understand that. I mean, these people needed help. They needed places to go. But there is an insane uh lost in translation moment with a lot of these people. Like I remember I went to the hospital one time. I had no insurance, and I was like fucking all worried about it. You know, going in there, I'm like, fuck, what am I gonna do? But I went in anyway. And I'm in there, and there was this, and I want to say they were Somalian. They were definitely, I do believe, Muslim. Because she was wearing like the burqa and all of that. But the doctors were trying to get her to take her outfit off. They're like, we need to examine you.
Right.
And they'd leave the room and leave her with the stuff. And like they'd come back and she'd still be in the fucking burqa or whatever the fuck it was. I don't know what it was. That's what I think it is. So it just blew me away. Like they would just keep coming in and going out and trying to get this woman to just, put on the Johnny and let them examine her. And she just basically flat out refused. And they're like, we can't help you. Like, what are we supposed to do? So
what would she do in her own country if she needed not her own country, but
and I don't know, but I think that's one of those cases where, if you're gonna have a huge influx of these people, excuse me, you need to have some way to bridge that culture gap.
Yeah.
Somebody come in and mediate that. Someone who knows, the culture of these people before they're fucking just dumped here. Because dude, it creates hatred.
We had the same kind of situation when all the Bosnian refugees came over, and it created a lot of issues. And I worked with a Bosnian girl for a long time, and she was like the hardest working person, and she was great to work with, but people just didn't get the culture differences, and it was a tough time. Now they've been pretty much integrated into society here, and nobody says anything anymore.
And I've worked with many immigrants from all kinds of different countries. I've worked with Russians, I've worked with people from Africa, all different countries in Africa, all kinds of immigrants. And by and large, they're fucking great people.
Yep. And that goes for Bosnians and Serbians and Muslims and whatever else. They're all, for the most part, really good people. I don't care what anybody. I don't care if we lose viewers for me saying that Muslims are good people. Most of them are.
And it's just that's just the way that it is. And what most people don't understand is that after a couple of generations, these people will just be Americans.
Right.
They will no longer be fucking, Russians or Bosnians or fucking Somalians or whatever, wherever they fucking came from.
Oh, fuck. This country was founded on that.
Once their children have children, the give a fuck about keeping the culture goes away. Those kids just want to be American.
For the most part. I mean, there'll be a few hangers on. Of course, there always is.
But yeah, so it's just the way that it is. So but that's the only, as far as in the state of Maine, that's the only type of like racism that I could see around here.
Well, we have the black versus white type. Now, I'm not saying everybody around here is racist, because the good portion of them aren't, but the ones who are definitely speak their mind, So and there's quite a few. I mean, you can't drive down a country road without. And I'm not saying that the Confederate flag represents racism, because there's a debate on that. I used to watch the Dukes of Hazzard every week. I mean, I love that show, and they had a Confederate flag, and I would never consider that racist. But You can't drive down a back road around here without seeing one. And I'm in the freaking northeastern Ohio, you know? So, and generally those people who fly that flag around here tend to be the ones who are racist. It's just that way. Every one of them I know anyway.
Yeah, and it's a touchy subject. It really is a touchy subject. Because ultimately, what is it? It's just a fucking piece of fabric,
Yeah.
or whatever.
I mean, I won't debate what it stands for because you're going to get all sides of the story. And the guy who invented or who came up with the design was definitely a racist at the time. But that doesn't mean that's what the flag stood for. You have to really delve into the history and stuff, but which I'm not prepared to do because to me, it's just a piece of fabric, just like any other flag, right?
I'm an uninformed douchebag, man.
No, but I'm not going to get all offended when somebody flies it, but I will get offended when they fly it for that purpose, you know?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
So,
Because it can be that type of a statement for some people. It's not just, this is my, I'm just having some pride in my, the roots of where I come from.
I'm in Ohio. None of them come from there.
Dude,
that's the thing.
I knew people up here in Maine that grew up in Maine.
Yep.
That had fucking Confederate flags.
Yep.
It is what it is.
For a long time, I think it was a fashion statement for rednecks, and I don't think it meant any more than that to a lot of them. Now that there's controversy over the flag in the last few years, those who still choose to use it tend to be the ones who are very strong in their beliefs. And unfortunately, their beliefs are, that they're white and they're better than anybody else. That's it. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
Because I've worked with a lot of guys who have that feeling. So, and
that not so fresh feeling.
Yeah, and I've told every single one of them how I feel about it. And
well, have you told them about Summer's Eve douche, Steve?
I've told them that they're a douche. Yes. Basically, I mean, what are you going to say to them, dude? You live in a country that was founded on immigrants. We're all immigrants. If you go back far enough, it doesn't matter which country you came from originally or where your ancestors came from originally. You came here all the same way on a fucking slow boat.
That's not nice to say about the boat, Steve.
Well, it was pretty slow. I mean, they didn't have engines and stuff.
Oh.
So it was slow. There were no fast boats back then.
Okay, Steve.
Anyway, that's my racism rant for the day.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad you could get it out. It was good.
Do you
feel better? Do you feel better about the world?
Well, no, not at all. I just feel better about my
Steve,
part of it.
This is the Fortean Slip. This is where dreams come true, Steve.
Oh, because every time I get on this show, after I'm done, I go to bed and I don't dream good dreams.
No, nightmarish dreams.
Why did I do that again?
Why did I listen to that fucking asshole?
How did he drag me into this 4 years ago? Has it been 4 years now? It's been 4 years. Holy fuck.
Is he going to tell me about another woman that dumped him in a fucking strange city?
How many times has that happened to you?
Just once. That was a fan of this show.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Past tense.
Hey, can you carry on a minute? My son is calling me.
Oh, dear God.
I have to answer this.
I guess I can. I think I should make him put the phone call over the air so we can all hear why his son had to interrupt the show. We're having good flow. And then fucking Steve's son, it's like a bull in a china shop. Well, that's what we get. as soon as Mr. Alcorn is back, I have a question for him. Actually, he's taking
As soon as Mr. Alcorn's back, he'll have an answer.
his sweet ass time. What did your son have to bother the show with?
My son hasn't seen his sister for a long time, so he spent the weekend there, and he doesn't have school tomorrow. So he called me. He didn't know I was doing a show because we haven't done one in a while. So he didn't assume that I was.
Right.
And anyway, he called me to find out what time he has to come home tomorrow. That's all.
Oh.
But you don't get a lot of phone calls from my kids. So I have to answer them because what if it was an emergency or something?
There could have been an emergency, Steve.
It could have been an emergency.
You know, he could have needed you to come give him gas or something.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't drive.
Oh. Well, then I don't know. I don't know what
I wouldn't put it past him to call me because my daughter lives over in PA. So she's about 30 miles from me, 25, maybe 25 miles from me. And I wouldn't put it past him to call me to bring him a fucking Mountain Dew or some bullshit like that. He'd expect me to drive that far to bring him a Mountain Dew.
And you'd fucking do it, you putz.
Listen, I don't just bow down and take it up the ass all the time. On occasion, sometimes I do.
So anyway, Steve, I wanted to pose you the question tonight on the show.
Okay.
So suppose like technology,
got it.
Gets to a point.
Mm-hmm.
Or let's just say hypothetically that right now, technology is to the point where you can have a bionic cock. And like this, you can go out and get a bionic cock, and this thing will do fucking anything, and it feels just like, you know, your regular cock. Like you have all the same sensations and everything, but it's a bionic cock.
Okay.
So like it can be like a vibrator and like have like the rabbit shit on it that twists and turns, and but you know, if you get a blowjob or you're fucking, it still feels like a fucking regular cock for you.
Uh-huh.
Would you get the bionic cock, Steve?
What does it feel like for her?
Well, Steve, every woman that I know has a drawer full of fucking toys.
Right.
I'm pretty sure it's going to feel pretty fucking amazing for her.
But every woman that I know would prefer a real cock over a toy if the cock was, you know, like mine.
But it feels, but the cock feels real.
If it feels real,
yeah.
Well, I think the only way I would do that would be is if mine quit functioning properly.
Then you'd go to the bionic cock, but you wouldn't like opt in for the bionic cock.
Not if I didn't need it. I mean, why?
I'm just asking, Steve. I'm posing the question.
Well, I'm posing the answer. No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
Because I don't need it.
You don't have to.
No, I don't want to.
You don't have a gun to your head.
Just a bionic cock.
Yeah. Or in your case, in your mouth.
What would be the purpose of this bionic member if your current one is functioning properly?
Well, maybe you want to upgrade.
How is it an upgrade?
Because it can do more, Steve. Can your dick vibrate?
Okay, but it can do more for who? Not me. It feels the same to me.
Oh, look at you, you selfish prick.
Hey, I never mind. We're not supposed to talk about sex and shit on this show.
Steve,
at least my sex life.
Steve, I'm all about my own pleasure, Alcor.
You're allowed to talk about your deals all you want. We don't talk about mine here. That's the rules, remember?
I asked you about the bionic cock. You took it further than me, man.
I did not. I just said no. No, listen, I'm not interested.
Hey.
Are they even going to let this show be on iTunes? I mean, why wouldn't iTunes and shit?
Why wouldn't they? Are you fucking out of your mind?
I don't listen to it. I've never used iTunes. I don't know.
Dude, all of the fucking huge podcasts that are uncensored are on iTunes. Like,
Okay, well then.
Are you seriously that fucking retarded?
No, it's just that I don't get into listening to podcasts that aren't on YouTube because I don't know why.
I'm a YouTube.
I prefer.
I'm a YouTube podcast guy.
Well, yeah, because I prefer.
I don't like to intermingle with those iTunes people.
No, it's not that. I just prefer the visual podcast, even though ours is no longer visual, which is probably a good thing for our viewers.
The more and more I talk to you, the more and more I am justified when I called you a fucking hipster version of a fucking steampunk character.
I don't even know what a hipster is. I mean, I think I do, but
you just, oh God.
I am familiar with steampunk somewhat. But all the hipster dudes I know, don't they like all have a beard and like these big horn rimmed type glasses almost?
Steve,
and then they wear like
for t-shirts. you it's a lifestyle, Steve.
So I'm a hipster now.
You're something.
I don't think I'm a hipster. I mean, I'm 46 years old. There aren't no 46-year-old hipsters out there.
You're a hipster cowboy.
Whoa.
Wow.
I'm not exactly sure what that was, but it went by awfully fast.
Wow.
It actually snowed today, so it can't be a motorcycle. So it's probably one of those rice burners. Am I allowed to say rice burner?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ohio Speedway.
Well, in the summertime, out in front of my house is like Sturgis all freaking summer long. Because all the motorcycles that go by, because there's several parks down on the lake that, they hang out at, the motorcycles.
Do you get out your fucking hog with your leather jacket and
no, but
with them?
But it's interesting that you bring up that, because I just sold a Harley jacket on eBay yesterday for $179. Pretty cool. Pretty good sale.
You couldn't make it the whole fucking show, could you?
You brought it up.
I didn't fucking bring up eBay.
You just asked about my leather jacket.
No.
And I exactly explained exactly where that jacket went.
No, Steve. I did not ask about what you sold on eBay.
Listen, this show is about us and what we like and enjoy, and that's what I enjoy. So,
along with man ass.
No, I do not. Not that.
It's debatable.
Unless it can be sold on eBay. Then I'm all for it.
I'm sure it can. I think you could be in luck, Steve.
Man ass. No.
No?
No. I do like a good female bosom.
I wonder, Steve.
Bottom, not bosom. I like the bosom too.
I wonder.
You got me all confused now,
Steve. I wonder if you could be tricked by a post-op trans girl.
No.
I'm like curious on that one.
No.
With you.
Well, it depends on how far the operation went, but I mean, did they take out the Adam's apple too? Because that's a dead giveaway usually.
No, I'm just. These are the questions that run through my mind, Steve, all the time.
Can the Adam's apple be removed?
I don't know, Steve. I'm not a doctor.
Well, it's a legitimate question. You asked me if I can be fooled, and I said no because of that. But if it can be removed, then possibly.
Well, we'll have to find one for you, Steve. We'll find one. We'll figure one out, and we'll talk about it on the next show.
Actually, it would be great to interview.
As a matter of fact, or
post-op transgender person. I would like to interview one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see if we can get our producer on that. He's pretty good.
Yeah. I'm sure
he's pretty good at getting guests.
I think that would be, the new direction of this show. And that would be something to explore.
And Steve, if he was here, we could tell him right now.
But he's not.
But he's not here. Like, I don't know how he's supposed to produce when he's not here.
What exactly is his role as a producer? I mean, I've asked you this, but I didn't really get a straight answer.
He's going to be the producer. So, like, as we're doing the show, He can feed us different shit. Like one thing I would like to do is keep the chat room available, in case anything comes up, somebody says something that's actually interesting, rather than us just like paying attention to the chat room because
I turned it off at the beginning of the
right,
show. I have no
right.
idea.
So, but there sometimes people can say some stuff that's viable, that should
Right.
be on. And if we had somebody to go through that and feed us that shit, like I'd also like him to just kind of help with the flow of the show. If we start talking about certain things, throw some fucking shit at us, throw some articles at us,
Right.
or throw some information at us, so we're not fucking talking like dumbasses. Like, oh, I don't know, can an Adam's apple be removed? I don't fucking know.
Well, so that's what a producer does. I mean, I thought a producer just like they direct the flow of the show. Huh. Okay. I thought that was a director.
Yeah, he could help, Steve. So anyway, and if he was here, we could talk to him about possibly getting a post-op trans girl on the show. I mean, if
By the
that's
way,
something, if that's something that you're passionate about, I'm here for you, buddy.
would it be a post-op transgender?
If
Would
you
it have been
listen,
a female first or a male first before
if
the
you
trans?
want, I think you should become a champion for the LGBTQRSTUV community. I think you should.
I have no problem with being a champion for those people.
I think you should.
I'm not one of them, but if they wanted me to appoint me their leader or something, that's fine.
That's up for debate, Steve.
It's called a tracheal shave, by the way, and it is possible.
Excellent. And on that note, Steve. This has been the Fortean Slip, episode 1. Is it 1, Steve?
It's 1 now,
I guess. The return of the slip. Steve, I am your father. I forgot to tell you, I am John Teeter. I went back in time. Yeah.
Nice.
We'll have to have a talk later.
Okay.
As always, check out the forteanslip.com. Check out Dred Funn at dredfunn.com and youtube.com/Dred Funn. I do believe Mr. Matt Knapp is recording a show tonight, Steve. Nice. So the people can go over and check out Matt Knapp. And people, seriously.
Bigfoot Crossroads, right?
Yes, Bigfoot Crossroads. And once we have this up on iTunes, please go there, rate it, leave a nice comment, help us out. Thank you.
Thanks, Pop.
Pop?
Yeah, you said you're my dad.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Wow. That was bad, Steve. You caught me off guard with that one.
Well, I didn't want to call you daddy. End the fucking show.
See ya.